Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the newest offerings from Benchmade Knives. This is the Anthem, and what makes this knife really interesting is it is their first integral knife. It uses one solid piece of titanium to form that handle while still incorporating their access lock, which was a patented locking mechanism, so the patent has run out as far as I'm aware. But over the last couple years, I've kind of skipped over a lot of Benchmade offerings. They haven't done anything that has excited me in particular. They still do have their stable of iconic models such as the 940, the 710, according to me, the Doug Ritter grip models as well, and a few others that I'm sure I'm forgetting at this point. Love the Bedlam, so on and so forth. But when they introduced their matte pricing, they incorporated it overnight to all their models, and then just kind of keep using the access lock without anything interesting. I didn't pick anything up for quite a long time, aside from purchasing my brother-in-law a Doug Ritter grip because I thought it was a really good option for a lefty. But they finally put out something for the enthusiasts, really on the high end of their offerings, and it's the Anthem here. So we'll take a look at this particular one. Ships with one of their normal boxes, Anthem model. Nothing exciting on the inside, branded pouch, that's it. So, moving that out of the way, we'll go through the specs, overall impressions, and details. So, first of which, we have the Paramilitary 2 here. Let's get these both into focus. Actually, a little bit shorter than the Para 2. So, spec-wise, we have a handle length here of about 4.56 inches, blade length of 3.5, as well as a weight of 3.7 ounces. So handle thickness is actually relatively thin. It is 0.43 inches thereabout. Again, integral frame, pretty interesting. Blade steel is CPM 20 CV right there. And of course it has the access lock. Now this access lock is slightly different. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's just do a couple more size comparisons here with the Paramilitary 2. So smaller and lighter than this titanium version. But yeah, they brought in a, I love that they brought a 3.5 inch knife, and they really got it down to kind of an overall small package here in terms of weight and thickness and so forth. Alright, let's see, anything else? Total open length is just about 8 inches overall, and I think that is just about it. This does use ball bearings, thrust stainless bearings as far as I'm aware. Now, I think that they run directly on the titanium. I haven't had time to take this particular one down to check, but that's my assumption. If I'm wrong, I will either annotate or someone will correct me in the description box below. So, alright, overall impressions, really, really, really good. A few small qualms with the knife overall, but I'm really impressed with the design. Beautiful. The fit and finish is excellent. And they are able to do something that I have qualms with as an enthusiast on the high end of knife collecting, which is the access lock is an incredible lock, but oftentimes what you're getting is, if you want a really smooth action like you see here, you often have to pair that with, loose pivot tolerances. Otherwise, the knife won't close kind of in that fashion. But with this one, the lockup is rock solid. As you can see, the action is incredibly smooth. Beautiful, beautiful action. Very smooth, very easy to open, very easy to operate. And so I don't know if it's the way that they've done the access lock and the compression spring in lieu of the Omega spring, or perhaps if it's just the bearings that really let the access lock work to its full potential. I'm not sure on that. Time will tell, or someone who has a better understanding of the access lock and the tolerances, maybe they have a better idea. But really happy to see that they were able to marry those two things, which is a really easy use and rock solid lockup. But yeah, this one came, it's excellent. A few minor qualms. Pocket clip here, came with this gap. I can fix that. I'll just take off the pocket clip, bend the pocket clip. Don't really like that gappage there. Minor issue, correctable. The other qualm that I had right off the bat is I had to break in the axis lock on this particular one. And so, you know, I'd open it and then I'd have a really tough time disengaging it. Might have to use, like, you know, both thumbs to pull it. And they put in this, what is unique hardware to this particular one. As you can see, it's not the standard, you know, axis hardware for the lock bar here on the axis lock, and that does create a little bit of a hot spot or sharp edges if you're really having to force this thing. Now, it's broken in completely now. There's no stick, so it was remedied after just a couple days, and, you know, there's, in normal use, you don't feel the, you know, the edges or the serrations on this thing at all, but while you're breaking it in and it's a little bit sticky, you know, that was uncomfortable. But again, it's already remedied, but, you know, if you're looking at it and you're trying to figure out, hey, what might be the obstacles, you might have to adjust the pocket clip, you might have to break it in. Other than that, I mean, this thing is incredible. So we'll go through the details here now that I've shared my overall impressions. Again, 20 CV steel, an American-made, high-quality steel. The edge is very symmetric. And this thing came razor sharp, one of the most impressive edges I've seen in a long time. And again, people have been complaining about fit and finish issues on Benchmades for last couple years, you know. Whether or not those claims are exaggerated or it's within the normal realm of, you know, deviation, standard deviation of fit and finish is hard to say. I think a lot of people, including myself, were upset at the way that they enforced matte pricing overnight, and it affected their entire range. So to the end user, it was a, what was it, like 28 or 33% increase overnight, which people were not happy with. So, you know, more complaints about fit and finish with the increased price, yada yada, old news at this point. But edge is beautiful on this one, very, very sharp, very consistent and clean. So quite happy to see that. Kind of a, I don't know, high polish stonewash on this one. Really nice finish. I like it quite a bit. You can still see some of the machine satin, you know, being machine ground on the flats there. Now they did put first production. What is this, 674 out of 1,000? I think putting first production is kind of stupid when it's out of 1,000. If it was out of 100, that might be something worth talking about, but out of 1,000, who cares? A lot of companies won't even, you know, 1,000's like the max run, you know, not their first production. In Benchmade scale and how many they produce and how many they sell, maybe that is a really small quantity to them, but it just doesn't really affect the collectability to enthusiasts at 1,000. So again, didn't really, I mean, I wish it wasn't there, but it's not a make or a break. It shouldn't be for you guys. So yeah. All right. The spine is crowned, nicely rounded, really nice touch. And like we've seen on other knives at this point, it is using the integral frame as the stop bar or the stop pin in lieu of a stop pin. So I think they're the third or fourth company that I specifically own that does that. We Knives is doing it. Zero Tolerance, the 999 has an integral, you know, lock bar of titanium. There's someone else that's not coming to me right now, but several companies are incorporating that feature. Not that one. All right, at this point, so I'm just really not concerned about it. Chevron pattern here on the handles. I like it. You know, it's machine work. It's interesting. I think it looks cool. It is tapped for right and left hand carry tip up for, you know, pocket carry. I'd love to not see those there, but again, they're left-handed users, especially with the axis lock, where I think that is quite reasonable to expect or even demand on their part. So yeah. Torx pivot head, connectors on both sides. Pocket clip carries the same machining. It's interesting. I mean, it's a good pocket clip. I'll be happier when it actually is flush with the handle, but it works for now. And the thumb studs carry kind of the same interesting hardware that the the Axis lock itself does. So I like it. Again, if it's more interesting, or I love proprietary hardware as long as it's serviceable. So I do like the upgrade or change here on the thumb stud and the Axis lock. Now another cool feature. So this one uses a compression spring in lieu of the Omega springs. They had to do that with the integral construction. Wasn't a way to assemble it, piece by piece with the Omega springs. And it works perfectly. I mean, it might even be an improvement to the overall Axis lock. I'm not sure. Now, they did have to adhere it to the spine of the knife with 2 screws. So you do see those 2 torque screws here. And another feature that I really like is, instead of just leaving this flat and having 2 screws that are showing that are ugly, they figured out a way to incorporate the screws and the screw holes into the pattern, so it camouflages it or ties it in. So again, unnecessary, but a nice attention to detail. Alright. Ergonomics. Pretty comfortable. A little bit slick in the hand, but I'm not worried about it in the slightest. So not for normal use. I mean, this isn't a hard use knife, especially not in this price point. MAP pricing is $425 no matter where you go. So, and speaking of which, I picked this up from Sanford at Carmel Cutlery in California. Since MAP pricing is basically in play with all the big brands these days, go somewhere where you get really good customer service, and Sanford's always been quite good to deal with. So another option. All right, centering is perfect. The edge does not, the tip of the blade does not come anywhere near the edge. And I do like the 3 screw construction because it's a really good traction point. The chevron patterning, if it was going the opposite direction, might provide a little bit more traction for extraction, but this works very well. So anyways, really like this one. I do prefer this one to the Spyderco Nirvana. I think it's I don't know, it's nicer for equal point, for equal price points. I'd take this one. So home run. Really happy to see him kind of pull the enthusiasts back in and do something that is up to their potential. I mean, this isn't even, I don't think, Benchmade's full potential, but I was really happy to see him put in the effort. To close, I'm just going to show you guys a couple more integrals. We have the Riot Future, the We Knives 702, the Custom Knife Factory Tegral, and then last but not least, certainly not least, my Brown Knives Parabolic, which is a custom. So all these are integral knives as well. So yep, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys got the information you were looking for, but it's a really well done knife. Initially I wasn't going to pick it up, and then I watched a very short 2-minute video from Justin Laffert, who said it was excellent, and that was really all it took to push me over the edge on another integral knife, which I absolutely love. So anyways guys, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. More videos to come. A slight preview in the Benchmade family. Did pick up one of their proppers, which is a new slip joint. So very cool as well. Alright, see ya.